Hello, everybody, and welcome to this second interview I'm having here with Tibor. A few months ago, probably was in September, I had a first call with him, and I was like, oh man, we have to do an interview. And we did an interview for Synthetizer. And since then, the prophecy of Sam Hovens and the Bible of Andrew Kirby have been helping us make money. It's like crazy because I remember watching a video of Sam Hovens saying, yo, join school and you're gonna make 10 grand. And he had this Australian accent when he was saying 10 grand. It was so fun. And over a year ago, I joined school and things didn't work out so well. But then I joined Synthetizer and I found the roadmap, which is kind of like the Bible of school. And since then, I started making money. Tibor has been making money, and the prophecy has been happening. So Tibor here is uh, an amazing coach, and he's helping people also make their money. So Tibor, do you want to introduce yourself and share a little bit about your story?
Yeah, sure. I am Tibor. I am from the Netherlands. I used to be a PE teacher. Around 9 months ago, I was able to quit my job to be a full-time creator. And that was also, yeah, like you said, because of school. Because first I was active on X. I started as a productivity coach, helping people with their focus. That is why this hat. Helping people with their effectiveness. Effectiveness basically means working on a high leverage task, so you don't waste time working on things that doesn't move you forward. And about efficiency. Efficiency basically is creating a system. A system is a routine of habits. If you do that for long enough, then the whole routine becomes a habit, and that is how you increase both the speed and the quality of your work. I did it for a couple of clients, went pretty well, but then I noticed that most of the people who I was speaking to, they really didn't care about productivity. They needed it, but they didn't want it. And in business, Andrew Kirby says it the best, or Aiden was it, one of these two, they were talking about the principle of bacon wrapped broccoli. In You basically sell them the bacon and you give them the broccoli. Sell them what they want, give them what they need. So now I started to basically all of the people who I talked to, they wanted clients, they wanted financial success. So I pivoted to that market, but still coaching a lot of people in focus, mindset, productivity, etc. Yeah, it was when I was doing that on X, I was earning about 1K per month. Not enough to earn a sustainable life, to earn a sustainable living. But then I pivoted from X to school because I got shadow banned on X because I was just waking up every day, same time, engaging for 2 hours. X thought I was a bot, so they shadow banned me, wasn't getting any more leads from there. Pivoted to school, and yeah, like I knew Aiden already because I joined his first low ticket community that was X Order. And then this is how I discovered Synthesizer. I was also looking at the roadmap and I thought, man, if I just had this roadmap when I was a beginner, then that would save me so much time. But anyway, school still has been going very good for me. In the first month, I went to from 1K per month to 4K per month. Then I hit kind of like a plateau. When we were speaking in September, that was also like the plateau that I hit of like the 4K per month. Afterwards, I had kind of like a breakthrough because I started to work with another synthesizer who is pretty well known, which is Murtha actually, because what happened to me was I was having kind of these setbacks, kind of these relapses. I'm really into focus, and I know that I need to sacrifice all of the stimulating bad habits in order to spend more time and energy towards these things. But I could do without these things maybe for like 30 days or something like that. But after around 30 days, when I was seeing no progress, where I was like on the edge of burnout, where I yeah, wasted all of my energy. Then I didn't have these urges. Then I didn't basically, how do you say that? I couldn't fight these urges anymore, didn't have enough energy. Started working with Myrta, she helped me with that. After that, I was not having setbacks, relapses anymore, was building massive momentum. Then I hit my first 10K month, actually 11K month in November. Afterwards, I went to Barcelona to live with Lucas for a month. In Barcelona, I met a Brazilian girl who became my girlfriend. So I went to Brazil. That ended up not really working out. So now I'm back to the Netherlands, like grinding my business.
Beautiful. I'm very happy that you've been able to get through this roadmap. And as you said, the broccoli is what we need to eat. It's pretty funny because I just had broccoli before. Tell me, so you had different like levels, and you're saying that what is important is having focus, but there's a goal that is more important. Focus is more like what we need to do in order to reach a goal. Can you tell
Mhm.
me a little bit what is the balance between like the practice of focus and the motivation that you have from your goals?
Yeah, it's what is very important. Like you cannot have focus without a goal because that is like the whole principle. Like let's say in this follow analogy, I use it a lot. Let's say you are walking on the street and your goal is to reach the other side of the street. Like that is your goal. um, if you stay focused on that goal and you relentlessly sacrifice all of the distractions that are coming to you, then you will eventually reach it. Because what will start to happen is you will start to walk, and then actually this is the funny thing because I talked about Myrta, I talked about Greg, I also had a great conversation. Oh no, I talked about Myrta, talked about Lucas, had a few conversation with you. This analogy I actually learned from Greg, who is also like a synthesizer. So all of these synthesizers are giving me all of these things, and just by hopping on calls, by networking with people, I've learned so much. But this is basically the analogy. You want to achieve your goal, which is going to the other side. When you start to walking, there will come distractions. For example, your friends will saying, "Hey, look, and there's this football match playing. You know, the final of the Champions League. Come this way." But you say, "Nope, I'm just going to stay focused, walking towards my goal." Then in this other alley, there is this girl who says, like, "Hey, come this way." But you said, "Nope, I am going to stay focused towards my goal." As long as you stay focused and you just keep walking, eventually you like two things. One is you will die. Second, you will reach your goal. Like there is no other option, and that is why focus is so important. So having a goal, of course, number one, and the goal I always had was I wanted to have freedom, freedom in what to work on. That is basically like the autonomy, freedom of where to work, and freedom of when to work, what time to work, and that autonomy, that freedom, that fulfills me like a lot. Like life is so great once you finally achieve all of that things. I think I don't really like how people say like financial freedom, location freedom, and time freedom. Because financial freedom, if you achieve financial freedom, then you automatically have location freedom and you also have time freedom.
Mm,
So when I say freedom, that is like the core financial freedom, but that includes also location and time freedom.
yeah.
But it's more about autonomy for me because I don't want to sit at the beach whole day just doing nothing, um, working on something fulfilling.
I love this analogy of the street. You have to go from one place to the other and be mindful that within the street there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of things that will not take you away. One thing that really you've been mentioning since the beginning of the call is the people you've met. Can you touch a little bit on the power of the community and what role community has been having within your development here and your success?
Yeah, it's very, very, very underrated. I think right now I've hopped on about 1,000 calls, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't without these calls. I think hopping on calls is the number one most high leverage thing that you can do as an educational creator, as like a coach, someone who is helping other people, someone who's trying to learn. Because number one, a call is 1,000 times more powerful than comments or chats. Because on a call, you can really talk to somebody, you can see somebody's personality. And now, whenever you have a DM conversation, you can put a personality behind the words. It is not just mere words anymore. And with stronger connections, that will lead to an a better network, like a greater network, which will lead to a greater asset, because your network is one of the strongest asset. It's about like who you know, because if you have a good connection with a lot of people who know a lot, then you can get a lot of shit done. So the connections is one benefit. The second benefit is there will be a ton of opportunities. Opportunities to have like collaborations with people, opportunities to find great mentors who will help you. Because all of the mentors that I have that I had in the past, I basically found through these calls, and opportunities to find clients as well. So that is great. Number three is you will collect very valuable data. If you talk with people and you figure out where are you now, where do you want to go, and what is your biggest bottleneck, then you're doing market research. And if you do 30 of these calls, then you have a very good idea of what the market wants and what you can help them with. Because what most people do wrong is they make assumptions. Oh, I think people want this. Oh, I think people want that. But when they're talking to people, that is not what people want. So that is also, um, and there are many more opportunities. So yeah, I've just been focusing on hopping on as many calls as possible: networking calls, research, clarity, discovery calls, sales calls, client calls, group calls, all kind of calls. And that really led me to where I am now. That is where I learned a lot. Oh yeah, and also that you will learn a lot, of course. Maybe one of the most important things, because everyone on school, they're kind of interesting people. They have walked a certain path, and they have learned some very valuable lessons. They have developed some sort of skills which you can learn from. Also, you are explaining your own concept to a lot of different people, and these teaching other people, it discovers gaps in your own knowledge, and you will learn to explain things better. You will become a better speaker and stuff like that. So yeah, like calls, networking with people, you don't know what return of investment you will get out of it, but the return of investment is like crazy. The ripple effects that you will get from that is like insane.
Making connection is such an amazing thing, and you've really covered a lot of beautiful things that happen from in calls, from like meeting people, receiving information, knowing what's going to be your next step, also like just creating connection with people, making friends, and also like going to places where you've never been to, like you've been to Barcelona because you met Luca online. If I was just arriving on school and my goal would be to become a coach and to make money, how do I get on calls with the first 30 people to understand what I have to do?
Um, yeah, I think in the roadmap they're explaining it pretty well. It's like doing they have the rule of 300. That is 100 minutes doing making content, and content could also be like post on school, for example. That is the comments, the engagement, engaging on other people, their things, and doing the outreach and the DMs. I think if you just do these things and always keep in mind that you want to book calls with people, then it's like pretty effective.
So what should I do on a first call when I'm jumping on a call with someone? What should I ask them? What should I say to them?
Yeah, um I would just have like a normal conversation first, like feel it a bit, because when I used to do calls in the past, it felt very uncomfortable. It felt
Mm.
very uncomfortable. After the call, I was like shaking. Yeah, there was a lot of stress, anxiety, etc. But you build your capacity over time. At first, I could only do one call per day, then it was 2 calls per day, then it was 3 calls per day. Now it's 4 calls per day, but in Brazil, I also did 5 calls a day. Is going pretty well, but first, just connect with people, and then if you feel like you have a strong enough connection, then you can say something like, hey, I've been doing some market research to get more clear on my offer. So would you mind if I ask you a couple of questions about that? And then you can basically ask like what I just said about their current situation, desired situation, and their biggest bottleneck. And if they have a problem which you are able to solve, then you can help them. And a lot of people underestimate their own qualities and what they can actually help people with. Like if their current situation is okay, I'm just or some like I'm earning like 1K per month on school. I want to get to 10K per month on school. And then so current situation, 1K per month, desired situation, 10K per month, biggest bottleneck, procrastination or something like that. Even though you don't have achieved the outcome of like 10K per month yourself, even though you've gotten like nothing, but you know how to help this person overcome the procrastination, then you can make them an offer. You're not going to promise them the 10K per month. You're going to promise them basically the solving the procrastination so that the possibility is higher that they can achieve this 10K per month mark.
So you need to understand people, connect with them, and then see if the skills you have can match their problems. Like if you with your skills you can alleviate their problems, they can reach their goal. You don't especially need to have reached their goals, but if you have a solution that can help them, you can go for it. So well, let's say I've met someone and I had a very amazing call and I see that I can help them and I'm getting on a second call. How do I get money from them?
Well, I use something like the when you know where somebody is and where they want to be and what their biggest bottleneck is. Then you can basically end the call. And then, based on your experience, then think really well of, okay, this is where they are now, this is where they want to be, and this is the thing that is stopping them to getting there. What are the exact steps or phases that they need to go through in order to get from where they are now to where they want to be and solve this bottleneck? And then also, like, what are the action steps that they have to take in order to complete each and every single phase? And then make it like really valuable, and also think about, because most people are lazy, most people won't take the action on their own. So also think about what is the knowledge, the beliefs, and the mindset that they need in order to take the actions. And then you make this really valuable step-by-step game plan or roadmap that will take them from where they are now to where they want to be. Then on the next call, you're just that this is what I do, this is what I teach my clients. Just give it away for free, as much depth and value as possible. And then afterwards, you can offer your help, or you can explain them how you would help them implement this roadmap. And for me, it really doesn't matter if somebody becomes a client, yes or no. If somebody becomes a client, yes, great. I get some more money and I can help someone in like a 3 month period to like completely change their lives. But even if somebody doesn't become a client, um, I don't really mind, because the number one is I collect a lot of data, about the current situation, desired situation, and the biggest bottleneck. So I become more knowledgeable about my market. So that is already very valuable. Number two is I get to practice my pitch, practice my offer. I can refine, I can implement the feedback, and I can make it better. I can become more confident on these calls. Number three is you will build a ton of goodwill, because if you actually make this roadmap very valuable, and I don't really handle objections. Like a lot of people, they take the other approach. They say no, you have to handle. Well, like answering questions is good, but like forcing people to make the sale, it has basically like the opposite effect. So if somebody doesn't wants to do it, then I say, yeah, okay, that's fine. So what other questions do you have for me about the roadmap? Something that isn't clear? And I just end with like 10 to 15 minutes of free coaching. And then I just end the call. What I noticed is a lot of people way later down the line, because they weren't ready for mentorship, because it took me like 14 months of trial and error, suffering, of trying to figure it out myself. Before I thought, okay, I need a mentor. I need to pay like $850 per month, or 800, yeah, something like $850 per month for somebody to help me. But it can take a long time to reach that point where you make the decision of okay, I like need a mentor.
Hmm.
So I don't find it very effective to force people into making the decision when they are not ready. So then they are trying it for themselves for 2 weeks, and this is actually what happened for my most recent client. He basically, I did this call with him in like September, didn't close him, but I just ended with some free coaching. Then he tried it on his own, didn't work. Then he quit school for like 3 months. He recently came back, and who was the first person on his mind? That was me, because I didn't force him into an uncomfortable situation. I didn't force him to make the sale, and he had a good experience. All of these people that were trying to say like, but isn't this something that you really want to do? And do you really don't have the money, or is there something else, this and this and this, and they get this uncomfortable feeling. They are not going back to these people. He was coming back to me, and he wanted to invest in my mentorship. And I've noticed that when you like take this low friction, low effort approach, like you build insane goodwill. And I've gotten a ton of referrals because of it. 50% of my leads were coming from referrals, and that it makes the process like way much more enjoyable.
This is very beautiful. What I'm understanding here is that you have to present a clear step-by-step plan that is so easy that the only thing they have to do is show up, and the only way to fail is by not showing up. So they know exactly what they have to do, what kind of mindset they need to have. And then, at the end of the call, when you have presented that you are the expert, that you know exactly what's going to happen, and that you're just going to make sure that everything happens smoothly, all you have to do is offer them to work with you, and if they accept, well, it's happening, and you have to understand where they are standing, if they are ready to jump in with you, or if they want to just, like take 3 months of a leave and then come back in 3 months and just say, hey, Tibor, I want to work with you because actually you're the coolest guy ever. That's very beautiful. So I feel like anyone who is watching here and is just landing on school with that desire of having their first high ticket client, they really receive all the information needed. So I'm wondering what's going on for you right now? Where are you, and what is the next step for Tibor to evolve to?
Yeah, right now I've gotten all of my leads basically from school networking. That is how I got my first 10K month in November. But yeah, like you can scale to 10K per month, maybe 20K per month just through school networking. But I want to hit 100K per month because I just love playing the game of entrepreneurship, of online business. And for that, you like need a big audience. There's no other way. Or like invest a ton of ads, but I like to do it more organically. And so I just stopped doing school networking for like a while, and like completely focus on YouTube to get a good rhythm in there. Because only with a personal brand, like, because in the past time, first my bottleneck was the delivery. I was helping about 10 to 12 clients at a time, but my time was like kept because I those were like weekly hour-long calls, and if you have 12 calls, that is 12 hours, but then also unlimited messaging support, that is also 1 hour per client. Then also building the delivery, building the product, all of these things. And then so sometimes I was like spending about 30 to 40 hours just on the delivery alone, and that isn't like the acquisition and the conversion. So I made that more scalable by transitioning into a hybrid version of one-on-one coaching, and then later, if they got their first paying client or their first few paying clients, they transition into the mastermind, where they basically learn from other people having their perspectives. It is more valuable for my clients, and it's also more scalable for me. And once I solved that bottleneck, then the bottleneck was like leads. I need more leads. And yeah, I can spend a lot more time on school networking, or I can build a more long-term scalable solution, which is YouTube. So I'm heavily focused on that. Once I find a good rhythm in there, I will focus back some time and energy on school as well.
That's amazing. I'm very happy to hear your evolution from like starting and on X, then going to school, increasing your income incrementally, and now understanding that as you're making money, what's really important is efficiency in reducing the amount of time you're working and be able to have a system that is delivering more value to people. Do you have like any lessons you want to share? Do you have any like advices to people that you haven't mentioned so far?
Yeah, I recently had like a big realization because I was going on YouTube, and with YouTube, I was still a beginner in that. And when you're a beginner, like you're looking at people who are ahead of you, and but the thing is, all of these people are saying different things. And when you really pay attention, all of these people who are marketers trying to build a business, they are saying something like, "Hey, what you're doing is wrong. Why? Because of benefit.
Mhm.
Instead, try this new mechanism, which is also their offer. Why this is better? Because of benefit. So you start doubting yourself. You start to think, oh yeah, I should do YouTube this way. I should do business this way. But then you start to do something, and then you inevitably hit a bottleneck, or you inevitably like hit something that you don't know how to get around the challenge. Then what do? You hear another marketer who is saying, "Oh, no, what you're doing is wrong. Why? Because of reason. Instead, try my mechanism. Why this is better is because of reason. And people go through this cycle, and it is like called the Dunning-Kruger effect. Like at first, you have a lot of your like when you are still beginning, you have a lot of confidence that is like the peak of Mount Stupid. Then you go down into like the valley of despair. Here's where people usually pivot and do something else. And this is what happened to me with YouTube. I was listening to all of these people like giving advice. But the way to cut through all of the noise and get insane amount of clarity is just by looking at yourself. And this is what I've done multiple times. I was looking at my YouTube, and I was seeing like, okay, what is the content that I like to consume? Because if I like to consume this type of content, then there are other people who do so too. What style of content did I like to watch? Did I care when people say or ah? Did it need to be like very edited? No, I like this like raw, authentic type of content. And what topics were the ones that I like to think about? And what and basically, I went back to my old YouTube channel and look at all of the saved videos that I've had and basically looked at that. And this principle have helped me so much in the past. That is also that led me to develop this new way of like doing sales. Because all of the people were saying, yeah, you should force the sale, you should handle the objections, manipulate, say all of these things because that will do this and this and this. um, but I did a sales job in the past, and I built a resentment against sales around it, and I didn't want to do it in that way anymore. But then I really looked at my own situation. I was like, when did I buy something? Did the people force me into the sale? I was like, no, if they try to force me into the sale, they would just ruin my connection, and I would just not talk to them anymore because they just ruined the connection. I lost my respect for them. And the times that I did buy something were these people forcing me into the sale, and then I was no. I already made up my mind before I even hopped on the sales call. Why? Because they built a connection, because they earned my trust, and they had a very valuable lead magnet, such as the synthesizer roadmap. Or my previous mentor on X, he had like a big course. If you sign up to his lead magnet, you would get that for free. So I was like, yeah, I won't force people into the sale either, and I would just give them a bunch of value. I would just say everything and then build their trust, and then it goes like really effortlessly. That is kind of the approach that I've been taking, and it has been like going amazing. I built a ton of goodwill, pretty good reputation as well, and that was only because I just really listened to my own situation. And that the same I did on YouTube as well. So don't get distracted by all of the noise. Look at your own perspective. Like, when did you buy something? What content do you like to consume? What messages do you like to receive? And then basically like take an example from that and then do the same thing.
I love it because this advice is very important for people who want to create a community. Is really about be yourself. You know what you like. The people who are like you will like it. So if you like this kind of recipe of like creating goodwill, not putting pressure onto people, the people who are like you will enjoy the same thing. And that authenticity that you are showing it, because maybe there's some people who love receiving pressure, and some people need that pressure to buy, and other people they don't like. We all, there's all ways of life, there's all kind of people. And what is important is that you attract a tribe that is within your vibe, and that's what you're doing there. What you understood by working with YouTube is that you just want to do something that's good for you, and that will attract the people who love you, who for who you are. Like this, when you show up in your job, you don't have to fake it. You just can stay the way you were on the videos, and that's the easiest part. That is so amazing. Do you have any last words?
Any last words? Um, Stay focused.
Stay focused. I love it. So if someone is like right now watching this video and they need a little bit of motivation, what would be a reasonable time frame from them to be from the start to their first 10K, or even we want to say, let's say 5K, because with 5K you can already have a decent dive anywhere in the world.
I think the bridge to 5 and 10K isn't as big.
Yeah.
I think it isn't as big. For me, my time frame was basically for the first 15 months. I didn't get anything, didn't sign anyone, but that was also because I really didn't achieve a valuable enough outcome for myself. Like, I was playing a lot of video games, but I was good at video games, but that is something you cannot like, or I didn't want to monetize. Um, 15 months, but that was only like with mentorship in the last 14th month. But after this 15 months, it took me 15 months to get from zero to my first paying client for $100. And then it only took like 7 months to get from my first paying client of $100 to my first 10K month.
Wow.
So it's like it will be a whole bunch of nothing for a very long time, and then suddenly like everything. And that breakthrough can come sooner than you think, because when I was just before that breakthrough, I was thinking like, oh, this might take like another year, or this might take a lot more time. But what do you have to lose, honestly? What do you have to lose for just 1 year of hard work? Like, you will only increase your skill set, increase your characteristic, increase your knowledge. Only thing that it takes is like hard work.
It can only be positive, to focus on something and develop the skills, because it's not about what you're earning, it's about the person that you're becoming. Because when you have you as you were saying, when you move to become someone who is disciplined and stop playing video games and all of these things, the person you became changed, and that aura started attracting people. And it's not the knowledge, it's really the application and the execution, and the person you have become. Tibor, thank you a lot for all these answers, for your time, and for everything you have to say. Probably we'll have another call in the interview in 6 months, where you'll be making even more money and you'll have even more insights to share with people.
Yes, sir. See you in 6 months.
Let's do this.
Bye, everyone.